Hi, everyone. I'm Dilly Briggs with the Dilly News Rock Show on Chaotic Radio and Rockers Edge Radio, Inside the Orange Curtain, OC Review, and Chingonas, Rocktastic Media. And I'm here today with Fantom Fire! Woo! They just played a show here at Rockfellas. We are missing Angel, so Angel is represented right here at the blank spot because his name is Angel, so he's in angel form right now. So he was here, we was here. So we're here to talk about, all the stuff with Fantom Fire. We have a brand new lineup with them as well. So I'm going to hand the microphone down, and Will is going to introduce Wolf Franco here, along with Samuel. And I just want to find out about some information about them because they do have an album release party coming out. So there's a lot of big stuff happening for them. They are signed with a label, and they've got a lot of big things happening. They're about to go on tour. We're going to hand the microphone to Will so he can introduce Wolf, and we're going to go from there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we have been working pretty much nonstop since March, the end of March, because we had somebody leave the band, and it was a crazy search looking for somebody to show what we wanted, and even I filled in for our singer a couple of times. I think I did okay, but I knew that we needed somebody who could portray and physically deliver the style of music, the style of vocals that I had in my mind. And we went through several different singers, and it was just by sheer luck that I met this man next to me. He was he just I don't know, like we both had he had some things happen where he was looking for a band and we kind of needed a singer, so the two things just kind of happened. Planets, yeah, exactly, and maybe they wouldn't have aligned if I didn't go through stuff and he didn't go through stuff, and it's been great. So I want to introduce you guys all to Wolf Franco. Awesome singer, very cool guy. I can't really say enough about him. He's a sweetheart to everyone. He's cool with everything, man. He has incredible range. He can go really low and do growls, and he can sing high like Freddie Mercury. He's kind of everybody. He's open-minded. So, I mean, when we first got him, I was thinking, oh, shit, he can hit that note. So that opened up everything for me, knowing that he has skills and abilities that I didn't think we were going to be able to have with a male singer. No, he wasn't just a pretty face. So, yeah, I mean, and you know what? On top of that, just a decent human being too. So, you don't always find that in the music scene, decent people. So, and then the cool part is that we've been signed to Curtain Call Records as a result of having Wolf. So that has been something it's been something that we've all strived for and we worked really hard for. That's a whole other discussion, but just to know that he could deliver what we needed, and our A&R guy, Kevin, shout out to you, and John over at Curtain Call. You guys saw and you realize what we're capable of doing. So we're so excited to you guys, our fans. We're so excited to show you what we're going to present to you. We do have an album release party. We're coming out. Hopefully, we're looking at maybe the end of July. We'll let you know here in just a little bit. And then we're going on our first festival tour in June, and then we're doubling back to Arizona a week after that. So a lot of different things going on, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, and thank you for joining us, brother. I'm so fortunate and lucky to hang out with this dude, man. Yeah, we perform great live. He gets my thinking, and he gets how I phrase stuff, and and we got new music coming out here shortly for you guys. Some newer tracks than what we're gonna release. So I'm gonna turn it over to Franco here.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, guys. I'm not gonna say much because I know Dilly has some questions that I'm gonna answer. But as an introduction, and just saying it, it's a privilege, to be in this band. Like Will said, planets align somehow because you know everybody looks for a chance in LA. Not everybody gets it.
Hardly anybody gets it.
And if you get, it's not specifically what you wished for in the first place. It's very, very hard to find something that you really like to interpret and perform. And that ad, at a website or something that I posted was about to expire the very next day. And somehow Will sent me an email, and 3 days later, I read it and replied. And, soon after, we just talked over the phone and auditioned, rehearsal, and here we are. So the reason why I accepted it is because when he sent me the music, I realized that I found my niche, like what I was looking for. Like the songs are really, really good, like amazing, I would say. And the way he writes, the way he sings them, and it's just what I fit perfectly right there. Like we connect. He does voices too, second voices. He growls, he goes high, and then we just interacted like we did just now live. It is pretty awesome. Like I'm really satisfied to be in Fantom Fire, honored, and definitely it is a privilege. And I'm doing this with the best, best that I got, my heart into it. And before anybody gonna cry, I pass it on to Sam so he can continue. Because this is LA, man, and dreams come true somehow, It's never too late. My main man, Sam.
I want to say, first of all, thank you, Wolf, for joining our band. I'm very, very excited for the future and what we have going on. Will kind of laid everything out, so I really don't have much to say other than the fact that I am very, very happy that we are this unit and that we are doing the thing, and that Curtain Call Records believes in us, and they're going to give us a shot at making it, and I'm really happy about that. So thank you, my brother.
All right,
And
now
let's
we've
make
been
it happen.
finding out about Fantom Fire and how they played Rockfellas. They've got more shows coming up. They're going to be hitting stages in Santa Ana soon. And again, they're going to be doing an album release party here really soon. I don't know if they want to release any information about where it's going to be just yet, so you're going to have to keep tuned for all that. But we have some questions for Wolf here. We'd like to know, how does it feel being the front man of Fantom Fire and having to take on that responsibility, with being that front man? Because front man has to be that charismatic person and into this show, and you want to engage people, which was really cool. They were very engaged with all the audience tonight, which I really liked. So tell me about that. Tell me about how you feel about that.
Definitely honored because it's a privilege to be in such a good band that is, not only signed with Curtain Call Records, because it also has an amazing, performanship, and that's what makes it different and interesting and exciting. For instance, when I heard one of the songs, to me came immediately, if I have to say what style, what kind of music is this? I immediately thought it was violently sexy, like violently sexy. So it is an interesting band, and the music is really good. So I'm more than happy, to be part of this band of gypsies.
And Band of Gypsies, they are, if you have ever seen them play. And today was amazing to see everybody playing up there on stage. Now, who were your influences, Because, I mean, I feel like you have a very cool, like, kind of Kiss, Paul Stanley type of frontman, rocker, persona. So, like, but who were your influences growing up?
Well, Kiss is definitely one of them. I remember when I was little, uh, it really hit me hard. But if I have to go like early memories, I remember one time I was maybe 3, 4 years old, and there was a record on these old, vinyl kind of, you know what I'm talking about. I know the vinyl things. Some of you guys don't know those, But I was.
Old school. I have records. I love records.
Yeah, but the new generations probably, well, some of them they are buying for, paying for those things,
Vinyl's hit now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. They're
Yeah.
back. They're back. Right? They're back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But the one song that I remember that it hit me really, really hard, that I kept playing because those vinyl players, you lifted somehow some L that you have, and you lift it, and the song, and it will keep going over and repeating itself. It was the House of the Rising songs from the Animals, and that's my earliest memory. Definitely, it gave me the chills in my back. The hair in my arms will stand up. It was just something incredible. And then I would say that The Doors is the band that most influential it's been, to me. Definitely The Doors hit me a lot because of the psychedelia, the way they wrote songs, the performanship, the shows, live, improvisation, all of that style, all of that, like,
Yeah.
really, really, really influenced me. So I would say The Doors, Kiss, The Animals. Yeah, that was my memories.
Nice, very nice. And I can see that too, the whole Jim Morrison look as well, because that would be an easy blend, so I can really see that. Now, those are the ones that you grew up with. What about artists now? Do you have anybody that nowadays gives you that inspiration as well?
That's a very tough question because, the best music, some people think it was written in the 60s, some people think in the 70s. I'm one of those things in the 70s. But the 80s were like crazy times, like music was, the MTV, all of that. 90s came in hard too, with the grunge era. Then, I don't know, after the 2000s and talking about up to 2025, and the music industry changed a lot. It is somehow, confusing, really confusing. So nowadays, what I recently remember, believe it or not, is somebody, as an artist, being Lady Gaga.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we are not talking about metal bands actually, but as an artist,
Yes.
something that you appreciate because of the creativity, the way she also sings, writes songs. But the current artists, not really. I don't follow, no, not many. Now, Fantom Fire is a great band. I can tell that. That's definitely. I like them.
Oh, yeah, and I follow Fantom Fire. That's the band to follow right now. I'm telling you, they're going to be hitting it so big. You need to get in on them now while you have the chance. So you make sure to come out to that album release party. They're working on that towards the end of July. We can't really give too much information right now because, everything's kind of a little hush hush. A lot of really cool stuff happening behind the scenes for that. And, We also have a couple more questions for you, and we also were telling people about this, when we were on air, on Chaotic Radio, on the Dilly News Rock Show stuff, that we were going to be coming out to catch this show, and people were actually saying, wanting to know a little bit more about you. So we have some questions back there. So Krista, why don't you read us one of those questions from one of those fans? So, okay, we have people out there that want to know what kind of gear does Fantom Fire use when you're on stage, So let's start with Samuel here, the drummer. We'll start with Samuel first. What kind of gear do you use, Samuel?
I use Pearl drums, Zildjian cymbals, Pearl hardware, and I have Pearl Eliminator double bass pedals.
You heard it, Pearl. Everything Pearl. Awesome, awesome. Can't wait for you to see the footage tonight. It was great. And now what about going down the line over here? Everybody over here.
Wireless microphone, Sennheiser, 835. It's amazing. Great.
I use a ukulele. No, I'm joking. I don't. I use a seven-string Ibanez Universe, and I also use a seven-string Ibanez S7420. Now they're not stock. They're customed out. So I've always tried to chase tone. I think a lot of guitar players we do that. So for me, I'm changing the pots. If you guys know what pots are, I'm changing the hardware inside it. I'm changing the frets. I'm changing the strings. So as far as strings, I'm using NYXL's Diodario. I think I'm 10 to 51 or something like that. So I love those, carbon fiber and steel. I tend to be very heavy-handed with my guitar playing. If you guys ever come out to a show, you see some of the weird stuff I do on the fretboard. Very heavy, so I kind of need some strings that don't break right off the bat. As far as pedals, I use a lot of Boss pedals. I use a lot of Boss pedals. I'm the only guitar player, and that was a hard thing too, because we've tried finding a rhythm guitar player to help me out, but it was always like they're always like, well, what am I supposed to play, Will? Because you're playing all the parts. So I just got used to doing all that. It's been nice and interesting. So I do that. As far as mics, I use Shure 58s. I just love the omnidirectional thing on those. They perform really well live. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know Wolf was also using Shures for a bit, but it seems like the Sennheiser. I mean, it was perfect tonight. It was great. Sennheiser just makes really awesome products. As far as amps, I'm using Marshall, and then I'm using a preamp with that. It's a little bit of this, and there's some secret sauce that I put on. I'm not going to tell you guys everything. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys everything. As far as my influences, I mean, I have a wide range of influences. I love country music. We were just talking a little bit ago about some of our country artists. I love ska, metal, of course, classical. There's just so many good guitar players out there. A lot of varied interest. If you guys want to know what style I kind of go with guitar playing, I gravitate to a lot of like Middle Eastern or Italian type romantic, weird, creepy vibe music. That's just kind of what I like, and I think that's why me and Wolf click so well. It's just
for the weird, creepy, you click well over the
the weird, creepy, romantic stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I love that style. And so, you might be asking, well, how does that fit into metal and hard rock? Well, we make it work. So there it is. So that's what I use primarily. And, like I said, it's always a work in progress. I don't know what I'm going to use next year or even 6 months, because I'm like a lot of guitar players, I'm always tinkering with my gear. So I'm using some pickups right now that I may not have, you know, in 2 weeks. So it all just kind of depends. So that's what I use. Hope that answers your question, you guys out there.
So, tinkering with all his toys, as he says. Now, Angel, what about you? What do you play? And how are you doing?
Angel plays Schecter basses, and he also uses Boss equipment as well. He plays a 5 and a 6-string Schecter. He also builds his own basses, so he likes to do his own thing. As far as heads, I believe he is using, what's that? I can't think of the bass. Yeah, Hartke. Yep, he's using Hartke on the bass, on the head, and then he tends to change out the cabinets. A lot of times, guys, we're playing in venues where it's what's called backline, but essentially it just means they have amplifiers for us to use. So a lot of times the promoter, the venue, the production company supplies us with gear, and then we just plug into that. So that's what Angel does a lot of times. He just plugs into what they're doing at the back of the board or the front of the house or whatever it happens to be, and he likes to do that. So, and I think he also uses a preamp as well. So yeah.
Yeah, Angel unfortunately had he was sitting down here, but somehow, he was, but they're not responsible for accidents or injuries. So, but he says it was an open pit, this danger, but he didn't listen. Or did he?
Listen, he fell through the hole. He's saying he didn't listen.
I don't know if he read it or probably, he got too drunk that he could cross the letters. Yeah. What?
Bass players can't read.
Yeah, he said it.
And I guess we were wrong on what type of angel, because if he fell through the hole and went down.
He's a demon. He's a demon.
So, yeah, but he's here in spirit with us. And, yeah, we got a lot of footage with him also. So you're going to be able to see that soon. We're not putting it out just yet. So, again, that's going to be something that, again, is going to be part of, some PR for the album release coming out. But, yeah, we got some great footage. So keep tuned to the Fantom Fire page. Check out their media sites. Go to their websites. Check everything out. Make sure to come out and support those bands that put this effort in, for all of you. Because we all know music makes the world go round. Commercials, you wake up in the morning, the radio is going off. You walk outside, you got all these different people playing all these different music from the car, from the station, from the stores, and without music, life would be so boring. Because everything is frequency and energy, and we connect that way. Even though we've got Samuel over here on the phone, he's connecting on social media right now, saying we're interviewing right now with the famous Dilly Brigs, who's working our PR as well. So that's what he's doing. But no, it's a lot about that. And tonight was a really hyped up night. It was really cool because people were into it. You'll hear on the footage, everybody was screaming. They were jumping off stage, going through the audience, engaging with the audience. It was really cool. You got new fans tonight that said they're definitely going to be coming out to the album release party, which is going to be happening in July. That's the only thing we can really give. So make sure you tune in and save a date in July just for them. And like Krista, do we have any more questions from any more fans on there? Is there any other questions for the band? Okay, now we have someone out there wanting to know what it's like to have multiple vocalists, and how do you guys, work that in and not trip over yourselves and having to work all that together?
I think it's great. I mean, as being a vocalist for so many years in the past, the workload, it is sometimes unbearable because you gotta sing song after song and nonstop for an hour and a half, whether it was covers or originals or whatnot. But having a second voice, in this case Will, he wrote all the songs and he's got his parts, and he wrote the other parts that he wanted in some specific ways, which I fit in, I'd say perfectly. because I like them. I like what he writes. It's an interaction that goes back and forward, and it's a craftsmanship. Like it really is. I'm really satisfied with that. Having somebody else that can share the workload on voices, and the way, like I said before, the way he sings them. Like he got that growl, he got that high pitch, he done nasty things there, like is really exciting for audiences. I stick to my parts. I don't need to go too crazy because we're gonna go. It's already written, and we are straightforward to right on the target. We hit where it needs to be hit, and and we go up, low, and it is marvelous. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really do. I even enjoy the rehearsals when we do it, because then we change a little bit things here and there, and it works like magic. Then at the end of the rehearsal, I go like, "Hey man, I really like that high pitch that you did on that," and that's not the song, but he just did it, and then we use it live. Yeah, great. I love it. It's not all the workload on me. We share it. It's all balanced.
And you know what? And that's the important part. That's the important part, that you guys have to have that balance, because I've interviewed a lot of bands where, it's like, hey, if we can't find that balance, it's too hard to do. You really have to be able to work together and come together. And I think you guys sounded amazing. Just absolutely amazing together. I was like looking forward to this whole night, and we've been talking about it and promoting about it because I really wanted others to hear their music as well. We have followed, Will with his, bands, even at the different change up of, band members. I think by far this has been the best band lineup ever. And you guys have to make sure to find out and all about them and check out their sites, because this is a big deal for them to be signed to Curtain Call Records. You got a label behind them, pushing behind them. You got Rock Rage Radio management working behind them on the scenes. I'm also working with the PR with them for the Chingonas Rock and Roll Media and productions there. Dilly Brigs PR. I don't just do radio shows. We do a lot of this because small world, but we're degreed in a lot of this, so it's a lot more to it than what people actually see. And that's why we got a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff, like them getting ready, them talking with the audience. I like that. Now, do you guys like to engage with the audience, or do you just like to hide behind the drum set?
Well, I got much of a choice. I mean, I can try to interact with the audience, but most of the time I'm just behind my drum set.
Yeah,
So.
no, and I get it. You know what? Your drum set, you should have it like neon lights or something on it, something brightly lit, so that no matter what, you got attention on you as well. Neon sticks or something like that. Now, if he does it, it was a Dilly Briggs PR idea for the band, just so you know. But what about with you, Will? Like, how does it feel that you have, somebody to help out, with all of that, and like the writing? Do you guys also share the writing as well? Because I know you do a lot of the writing.
That's a lot of questions.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, I like to co-write. So the songs that are there, I've had co-writers. It's no secret we did have a few singers before Wolf, but it's always been a collaborative thing, right? Someone comes up with an idea, and then we kind of go from there. So that's what we've done for the most part. I would say our songs tend to kind of go around stories, if that makes any sense. So we have some stuff that is straight up about hurting people, but then we have other songs that are about like taking a look in the mirror and finding out, what's my bigger purpose here, right? We have a song called Two Dogs, if you guys check our stuff out. It's all about that, realizing that I'm a flawed person and that it's okay if I make mistakes. It just happens because we're all human, right? There's no perfect person out there. On social media, it looks like something, but I mean, hey, the reality is we all bleed blood. We all do dumb things, or at least I do. I don't know about the rest of you guys out there in TV land, but I screw up often. So we have songs like that. So it follows a gamut of things. For me, I was always inspired by Johnny Cash because if you guys ever into Johnny Cash, some of you younger cats out there, in one song he's talking about murdering someone just because he could, and then the next song, he does a Christian album, right? Right before he does right, and then right after his Christian album, he does Folsom Prison Blues, that album live. So it was just I like that. I like seeing how a person evolves in their writing. I mean, if it's just pop song after pop song after pop song, for me, I just get tired of that. So it's been collaborative. The thing I like about having Wolf is that he is able to articulate what has been written and then put his own spin on it. And it's real cool because he gets my mindset with these words here. Once we go over the story and what it's and what I'm thinking, he adds his own thing into it.
Bassist Angel Stone makes an
Bippity
appearance.
boppity boop. So it was like magic, honestly. I would say for me, it is great having three vocalists. Our bass player just showed up, but I mean, we worked really hard, me and Angel especially, on getting our background vocals together. And then, like I said, when we've had other lead vocalists, we always kind of had to make ourselves meld with whoever we were working with. Just with Wolf, though, it seems to just be real easy. So we all harmonize really well together. And he has such an awesome higher range. It just makes it so easy. We have another song coming out called Monster Hunter, where you're going to be able to hear that range that Wolf's able to do. It's just great. So, yeah, I hope that answers that question. Any other questions we have?
We do have one more question for the band. Everyone wants to know what's next for Fantom Fire.
The Disneyland. Okay, no. So what we have right now, we have May 18th. We are going to be in Santa Ana at Stages next Sunday. Come out if you can. May 23rd, we are in Phoenix at the Blues Bar. If you're there, let's see. In June 13th through the 15th. We are playing our first festival with Trapped and Head PE in Oklahoma at Rock on the River. And then on our way back, then we are back in Arizona for 2 dates in Phoenix and I think in Scottsdale. I'll have to check, you guys. And then in July, then we have an album release party. Details coming soon, but could be somewhere in Orange County. Never know. And then July and August, we have some other dates coming up in Pomona and a couple other venues. So, yeah, stick around. We have a bunch of stuff. And then don't forget Halloween, holidays. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Halloween and holidays coming up. You're going to see a bunch of stuff coming out for us. So, yep, I hope that answers it. So stay tuned. I'm going to hand this back over to Miss Dilly. She's walking back in frame.
So, okay. So you've been listening to
Fantom Fire!
on the Dilly News Rock Show. Yeah.